Was you bullied? Did you stop locking onto the enemy's car? Then it was deserved, as we have rules known as Rule 1. Why do we follow Rule 1 and where did it come from? What are the consequences of not following Rule 1? I will break it down step by step to understand the history of Rule 1 that dates back even before the game was called Rocket League. So what is Rule 1? Rule 1 is about respect and disagreement. The nature of the rule is two cars locking onto each other driving in the opposite directions, not allowing for opposition to break off under no circumstances. In the early days, this was not the case. The original rule was not to allow the ball to touch the ground once the clock hit 0 seconds, which is now called Rule 2. But the passion of today's Rule 1 was too much and overtook it as the main rule of today. So, who made the rule? It is not entirely known to who made the rule. NA and EU fans will of course claim it to be theirs originally, following the stubbornness nature of the rule. So some believe it dates back to as far as when the game was called Supersonic Acrobatic Rocket Powered Battle Cars, as well as other theories suggesting Sir Onyx-Devon and Dirk N made Rule 1 during the game's development. Even with all the claims, there is no concrete evidence to pin it to a correct theory. If there is more evidence today to back up a certain theory, please let me know in the comments, as I'm very intrigued to know. But how did this rule get so popular today? So there are devoted followers to Rule 1, and back in the day they were called Rule 1 purists, or R1P for short. It is to be said they came from the SAM region to spread their message at all costs to influence every region possible. Quotes like "I vow to never break Rule 1" show a clear connection to Rule 1 purists. So can a teammate break up Rule 1? So this line of thinking of teammates should not help break Rule 1 has a very violent history, with many persecuted because of it. It comes from a splinter group out in OCE. Its origin is a small group of Rule 1 purists began losing games because they kept getting locked with teammates. After the great deranking fiasco of 2015, a few members of the Rule 1 purists got fed up with that part of the rule. Basically, they disagreed on the rule of a teammate. At an early 2016 SAM Rule 1 council meeting, the group calling themselves the best, better excluding stupid teammates, proposed a change to the rule. Tempers were already high after all the deranking and only got worse as best began to blame their teammates, Rule 1 purists, for the great deranking fiasco. It's not clear who demoed who first, but when it was over, there were many casualties on both sides. Legend has it, this is where Sledge 98 was born. The Battle of Wasteland was one of the fiercest in Rocket League history. There were so many explosions that it caused the middle of the field to sink and for rules to expand. It took Psyonix over a year to fix the arena and flatten it back out. The Battle of Wasteland weakened best significantly, so they decided to flee over to the OCE region. In OCE, they continued to push their strict no teammate involvement agenda, removing teammate headlocking and teammates breaking up the headlocking from their ideology. The ideology is based on respect above all else. Now, they are relatively peaceful as long as you don't dishonor them or Rocket League. You may find hostile members of Best in the Platinum ranks, but beware when traveling there. So now you know a lot of Rule 1's history. What are the actual consequences for breaking the rule? Breaking Rule 1 is extremely shameful, not just to yourself, but to your entire family, even including your dog or your cat. But if you break Rule 1, expect karma to smack you in the face and to get scored on. Some extremists may even try to lose on purpose to ensure you learn your lesson for breaking Rule 1. A good example of how karma can play into this is even in RLCS, when version 1 played against Space Station Gaming, a player called Torment broke Rule 1 and only seconds later his team conceded a goal. Is that a coincidence? Probably not. So where is Rule 1 today? Today, everyone who plays Rocket League knows Rule 1, or they will for sure know what Rule 1 is soon enough. Its popularity is so big, even one of Rocket League's best users of all time, SundersCon, is part owner of an org exclusively for Rocket League called Rule 1. So to summarize it, follow the rule, subscribe, and credit to John Stein for this information. If you want to read more details about Rule 1, feel more than free to click on the link in the description taking you to his Reddit post.